I mentioned last week that there was going to be a Young Professionals Commission meeting where Doug Moore from COTA was going to be speaking. That was yesterday evening, so I wanted to put up a video real quick about my thoughts on the whole meeting. He was there mainly to talk about the short term and the long term plans that COTA has in store. Um, he started off with a little bit of Q&A about where COTA currently stands, what people think of transit in Columbus. He was really quick to say that he doesn't think that transit in Columbus is very good at the moment, but there's room for a lot of improvement. People made statements about how they thought the buses need to run longer, they need to run more frequently, they need to overall just have better planning. I raised a question that Patrick on Xing Columbus, the new transit blog, mentioned that that there isn't very good neighborhood connectivity between many of the neighborhoods. If you live in German Village and want to go short north, or vice versa, you have to take two buses to get there. Like those neighborhoods are so close together that it shouldn't be an issue. There shouldn't be a break on the main high street artery like that. So Doug kind of answered people's questions in pretty general statements about how COTA is planning on improving all of this stuff. He didn't really get into many specifics. I don't know if that's because there was a kind of a time restriction or if they don't have specifics ready to give out to the public yet. But either way, there's probably going to be more information, I would guess, coming out soon on that type of stuff. The one thing that Doug mentioned that I thought was a little strange was the idea of bus rapid transit in Columbus. He presented these photos. I'm not sure what city they were taken in, but it was sort of an urban landscape with what appeared to be light rail sans overhead lines, and kind of asked people what they saw. And of course, everyone said some form of train, transit. It looked like light rail, and he pointed out that it was actually bus rapid transit, and they were actually, wheeled buses running on the city streets. And I talked to some other people after the meeting, and they kind of agreed that it was sort of a strange concept to take buses and make them look like trains. I mean, I guess the current bus riders might appreciate the aesthetic improvements that this might provide, like, make the buses cleaner and more modern and whatever, but I don't think it's a very good long-term solution because it doesn't address the whole environmental aspect. You're still burning gasoline to run these systems. It doesn't even begin to address the economic development factor. That's a big key that a lot of people are bringing up in favor of the streetcar plan or any sort of light rail plan is the development that comes with the established streetcar lines or light rail lines, and a bus line is a bus line. It's changeable, and I don't think bus rapid transit is really going to spur too much additional development, if anything at all, over what an existing bus line would. So I kind of brought those questions up, and didn't really get a solid answer. I mean, it sounds like he was pushing it because it's a relatively cheap upgrade, but I don't know if it's one that we should be spending money on at all. And other people were, for the most part, agreeing with me, just people I talked to afterwards. I mean, when you look at another city like New York or San Francisco that has rail transit, you kind of, you go visit, you've lived there before, you're thinking about moving. That type of transit usually kind of has for lack of a better term, a coolness factor associated with it. It's something, fun. It's part of an urban lifestyle. And I would hate for Columbus to do kind of the half-assed version where they're just taking buses and making them look like trains, and essentially someone from one of these other cities might look at Columbus in a negative light because, oh, they don't have mass transit, they have fake trains, they have buses disguised as trains. It's to me, it sounds kind of like the little shuttle bus they have out at Easton that was built to resemble a trolley car. Um, and I mean, people ride it because it's a fun novelty thing to do, I guess, when you're shopping at Easton and you have kids with you, you know. But really, it's a bus. Like, you know, you're not really fooling anyone with that. They all know what it is, and it's um, it's not rail, and it's not going to accomplish the same thing that rail would. So yeah, that's it. Feel free to give me some feedback if you would, or if you would like to get in touch with Doug directly. He gave out his email address. Send me an email and I'll provide it to you, and you can pass along information to him. Um, and we'll see where things go from there.